live IELTS class. My name is Adrian. I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. I hope that you are all having an awesome weekend so far and you're here with me, ready to learn. We are focusing on the IELTS speaking section, specifically part 2. And this part 2 speaking will cover the topic of making someone happy. Welcome Fuang, hi Yani, welcome to our members. This is a members chat class. Everybody is welcome to watch. It's a good idea to watch and learn because after this class we'll be speaking part 3 of the IELTS, and that is a continuation from the topic of speaking part 2. So just a little bit of foreshadow. That class will be about positive experiences, so answering questions on positive experiences. Students, this lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS. Visit us there. For general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. Those are the companion websites to these live classes. We use these websites for materials, practice exams, strategies, verbal interactions. So definitely check them out. Go to aehelp.com. It looks like this. Click on this big red button that's just above my head there. Join the premium package. It's a one-time payment. You get lifetime access. And then you can enjoy these live classes even more and participate even more. Welcome, Romelia. Hi, Masala. Nice to have you here with me. So again, that's just that big red button that's right above my head there. We are an IDP affiliate. We're partnered with British Council. We're an official IELTS test registration center. In fact, you can register for your exam in some countries through the website. For the general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. That's generalieltshelp.com. And again, just click that big red button there. Students, we've still got this discount going for you. Mark 9 for a 10% discount. So use that discount code Mark 9. That's just, I think it's that side. Yeah? All right. And for the apps, yes, you can get our apps in your app store. Academic IELTS Help, General IELTS Help. Those apps will link to the websites. Check out the schedules on either this YouTube channel for the live classes or on Instagram, IELTS_AEHelp, GIELTS Help. I will be putting up our latest schedule in a couple of hours. So it's a good idea to subscribe so you know when these live classes are happening. And just looking at the schedule, an important note, okay, everybody, so we've got a couple of speaking classes right now. And then on the 23rd to the 27th, there's no class. So pay attention that this coming week, there's no class on Thursday. Usually we have one class on Thursday, but I am unavailable. So I will be back on the 28th with 2 classes, one for speaking, one for reading, and that will be an everyone and subscribers class. And then we'll have a task 2 writing for members on the 29th. And then we will have a light hall class on the 30th. That will be a speaking class. That's on Light Hall. Light Hall is a really cool platform for live learning, real time with video and audio. So it's like simulating the real speaking exam. Yanni, good luck on your exam tomorrow. Make sure to get good rest, stay calm, show up early, do your best, and don't worry about the rest. Did I just make a rhyme there? I think I did. But that's what you need to do. Rhymes always tell the truth, right? But yeah, good luck, Yanni. Definitely volunteer, Yanni, in this class and the next one. So you get some good last minute study in, practice in. Students, we just released a new video on the YouTube channel sponsored by Cambly, and that video, I'll put the URL also into the chat. It's a really good one. It's with a Sikh candidate talking about an object of tradition, so check that out when you have a minute. It's a great video. Okay, and then last but not least, everybody, I kind of skipped over this, but I know many of you have questions regarding IELTS or English. Don't be shy. Send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com or admin@aehelp.com. We like questions. We like to help. So send us your question if you have it, and we'll get back to you as quickly as possible. All right, let's dig in to our speaking part 2 cue card for the day. So here we go. Students, IELTS speaking, for those of you that don't know, it's a 15-minute interview. It has 3 parts. Part 1 takes about 5 minutes. General questions about you, your hobbies, sports you like to play, some general topic. And then the examiner will say that is the end of part 1. We will now begin part 2. For part 2, I will show you some questions. You will have 1 minute to read these, and then you will have 1 to 2 minutes to speak. During the 1 minute preparation time, you can take notes if you wish. You have some note paper and a pencil. I will tell you when to start, when to stop. Talk about an idea you had to make someone happy. Your 1 minute preparation time begins now. And then you have 1 minute to prepare, and then the examiner will say, okay, your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking. And depending on your fluency, depending on the accuracy and details of your response, they will let you speak anywhere from 1 to 2 minutes. If you're going off topic, if you forget what you want to say, if you keep repeating yourself, they will stop you at around 1 minute, maybe a little bit more. If you keep giving good information, new information that's on topic, then they will let you speak the full 2 minutes in most cases. Okay, making sure to answer all the questions on the card. So that's your goal. That's what you need to do. You need to stay calm. Yanni, when you're doing this, yeah, just stay calm, stay focused. Look at your notes, look at the questions. They're there to help you. Sometimes students ask me, I got this question the other day, like, do they keep the questions in front of me? Yeah, they do. Okay. Romelia, yeah, I'm glad you like the topic. Don't be overly self-critical. Okay, so it's good to just analyze what you feel you should do better and then push forward. The IELTS students, remember, it's you're there to do a job. It's not about emotions. It's not about being disappointed or even getting super excited. At the end of the day, it's an exam, right? So you need to stay the course and just do business, mean business, right? No emotions, just get it done. All right, strangely, ironically, the most important time during your speaking section of the IELTS is not when you're speaking, but it's when you are preparing your answer. Now, you are actually speaking in that part, but not to the examiner. You're speaking to yourself, okay? So we can even say ironically. Ironically means that it's opposite to what we would expect, okay? So ironically, the most important time during your speaking section is not when you are speaking to the examiner, let's change that speaking to communicating. You're not just speaking. I kind of wish, that we would use the word communicating a little bit more when talking about the IELTS speaking section. I think I'm going to do that a little bit more. Focus on the word communicating, because in IELTS, to get those high band scores like band 7, 8, 9, you're not just speaking. That's a misconception. You're communicating. There's a difference. Communicating means that you're not just saying words and sentences, but you are conveying information clearly. Okay? So when you are communicating to the examiner, but rather it is when you are preparing for your speaking part 2. Okay, that 1 minute. The examiners make a lot of decisions about your speaking score during part 2. Okay, especially for those high band scores, right? The reason for that is you have to generate ideas yourself. Okay, it kind of the cue card guides you, but really you are creating information in detail. Okay, and that gives a person who is listening to you, in this case the examiner, a much better idea of not only your vocabulary, your lexical resource, your grammatical range and accuracy, pronunciation, so those marking criteria that you can find online as well. So it doesn't just give them an idea about that, but it also gives them an idea of how well you can sustain one idea in communication for an extended period of time, so for 1 to 2 minutes. Okay, so it's when you're preparing. Okay, so during this time you have an internal dialogue. Okay, when you plan and execute a structured and detailed little mini speech, all right? So again, ironically, it's that 1 minute. Okay, I think you get the idea. Welcome, Alfred, to our group of members. Good to have you on board. Send us an email. I will hook you up with those exclusive videos, or one of my colleagues will do that, all right? Okay, students, so let's get into IELTS speaking part 2 here, and let's go through the steps of what to do during that 1 minute preparation time so you can get those high band scores, okay? Step 1, read all the questions really carefully, and it is often a good idea to do that twice, just so you have absolute clarity. Okay, so IELTS speaking part 2. Talk about an idea you had to make someone happy. So clearly it tells me here that this is an idea. Okay, what was the idea? When and why did you think about this? What did you need to make this idea a reality? What happened in the end, and how did the person react? Okay. So here, clearly, we are talking about an idea, okay? And when you talk about an idea, just like when you talk about a person, a place, an object, or an event, there are certain concepts that you need to think about in a structured way, in a kind of a step 1, step 2 approach, so that it's clear for your examiner, for your listener, what you're saying. So when you talk about an idea, what do you think you need to include, and in what order? So what should you talk about first? What should you talk about second? What should you talk about third? What should you talk about fourth? So what do you need to include when discussing an idea so that your listener goes, oh, okay, I get this idea. It makes sense, and I get why you had this idea and where you were going with it. Okay. Now, let's see. So Masala says the origin of the idea. Yeah, so where does this idea come from? Sure. Yeah. Origin also means time and location, right? So you can think about origin as time and location. So when did you have the idea? Where did you have the idea? Don't think about the questions though, so don't just think when, where, but actually think, okay, specific time, location, origin of the idea. Yanni says attendees. Attendees is more for a place, a location, but we want to say that a little bit differently. Okay. Fuang says the activities and the experience. That's more for a location. This is for an idea. So when we're talking about an idea, it's not necessarily activities. Okay. So we want the origin. We want a description, right? So what is the idea? All right. So I would probably talk about the description of the idea first, so what the idea actually is. And then I would talk about the origin, time, location, right? Of the idea. Let's clean this up a bit. Okay. Yeah, Yanni says the resources, exactly. Yanni, the way I say that is the requirements for the idea, okay? All right, so what was needed for the idea? Did you need money for it? Did you need some people to help you? Did you need to order some tools to make this idea into a reality? Did you need to talk to an expert, professional, mine some information? So requirements, yes, Masala, absolutely. So then what? So after the requirements, then what do you talk about with the idea? What do you think? So I've talked about, okay, this is my idea. This is where it came from. This is what I needed for my idea. Then what? And if you look at it and you look at it carefully, you kind of see that you're actually looking at the questions on this cue card. So what was the idea? When and why did you think about this, right? So origin, reason for the idea, right? That's the why. The requirements for the idea. Yeah, and then Fuang says the result of this idea. I would say execution. Okay, so did it work? What happened, right? And then the results. And if you have some time, if you're really quick and clever and you're going through these points really well, connecting them using some good connectives, because as a result, therefore, furthermore, then you can even add one more step to this process of talking about an idea. So you describe the idea, origin, reason, requirement, execution, results, and last but not least, when you have an idea, think about a business idea, for example, or a marketing idea, an idea to market or sell some objects or a service, some merchandise. After you do it, you have to do what? You might talk about some improvements. Right? So maybe just a sentence on how you could improve that idea in the future, okay? Or what could have been done better. Nice lexical resource and grammar there. What could have been done better, right? Okay, so as long as you keep that in mind in that order, you should be okay. So describe the idea, give the time, the reason for the idea, the requirements, execution, results, and improvements. Does that make sense, everybody? So thinking about those. For those of you sitting the IELTS exam, definitely, you should know each of these points when talking about an idea, or the points that are required for talking about a person or a place or an object or an event, right? Okay, Fuang says thumbs up. Yeah, so really important, because you can make that 1 minute preparation time extremely efficient and you can give a really good answer, okay? All right, so we have that, and then we need the tense, right? So for ideas, you're often talking about the past, the present, and the future, right? So how you can improve this idea in the future. So this is where that PPF strategy that you see on some other YouTube channels is fairly useful when you're talking about an idea. Because ideas, we talk about the past, when it happened, we talk about the present, we talk about how they affect the future. So past, present, future all come into the picture here, okay? And then you think about some possible answers in this next step. Times, let's say 3. I always encourage you, especially when you're at home practicing, you should try to think of 3 possible answers and then choose the best one, okay? So students, give me some ideas of how to make somebody happy. So what are some common ways or some common ideas that we make a person happy? So think about who it was and what the idea was. Could be a family member, could be a friend, could be a colleague. So keep your thinking open. Don't just get stuck with family like mom and dad or sister, brother. Try to expand your thinking, okay? Maybe you did something very altruistic and made a random person happy. Okay, Fuang says, my friend Lucy broke up with her boyfriend and I wanted to put a smile on her face. Fuang, that's a good start, but what's the idea, right? So you have the reason, but you don't actually have the idea. So what I need is an idea. Kennel, same thing. And this is typical when we think of ideas. We think about the reasons, but we don't actually think about the idea. And then by the time you think about the idea, you're running out of time for your preparation. So try to think of the idea. Kendall says, a friend who got COVID. Okay, so Fuang says, take a road trip. So road trip to Dalat city with friend, with best friend. Okay, that would be an idea, Fuang, to make somebody happy, taking a road trip. Okay, Alfred says, buy a gift for a friend who had a birthday. All right, I think that's really kind of cliche almost, Alfred, so it's too common. I would go with a different idea. But Alfred, even if you go with that idea of buying a gift for a friend, you have to be specific. So what gift did you buy for your friend specifically? Don't just think generally a gift, okay? It's not specific enough. Students, a very important tip, okay? Make sure, okay, for good results on the IELTS speaking, make sure that your part 2 answer is specific, okay? If you give a general answer, it's almost impossible to get a really good band score, okay? So you have to give a specific answer. Yanni, hanging out with a long time is not gonna work, okay? So I can give you ideas, but I don't want to, right? I want you to fish for yourself. I want to teach you how to fish, not just give you that fish. Like, what is he talking about, fish? It's that proverb, right? If you give a man a fish, he'll be full for a day. If you teach a man to fish, he'll be full forever. So I want to teach you to fish, so I want you to come up with some good ideas. Be specific, students. So if you're talking about buying a gift, what's the gift? What is it for? Okay? Because that will give a much better idea of how it will make someone happy. Okay. Sanantha says, take family to the temple. Okay, well, let's talk about ideas a little bit. So let me ask you this way, for example, Sanantha, take family to the temple. Why would that not be a good idea? Take family to the temple. Why is this difficult? So that would create difficulties for you, Sanantha. Okay. Domenico says, my idea required the involvement of a group of native Spanish speakers to get my friend to practice real language through social media and Zoom. Alfred says, cheer up a friend who failed his exam. Okay. Kendall says, not much to do in a temple. It's not just that it's not much to do in a temple. Maybe there is a way to cheer someone up. But the bigger issue here is the family, Sanantha. So in the IELTS, in speaking part 2, you always want to choose the easiest path to get that high score. Here it's sum 1. Right? If you're trying to talk about making your entire family happy by taking them to the temple, you could get into some difficult situation. So I would just choose one person and keep it simple. Okay? So let me kind of bounce off of your ideas, okay? And I recommend doing this when you're practicing for the IELTS in a classroom or with study partners, where you discuss your part 2 answers back and forth and you discuss how effective they can be. Okay, so let's give you some ideas here so that you get a good picture of what we're talking about. Okay, so so let's say a Louis Vuitton backpack for my friend's birthday. Okay, so here I bought a Louis Vuitton backpack for my friend's birthday. Louis Vuitton backpacks are very expensive, designer, many women love them, right? So it's a specific item, and it would definitely make that person very, very happy. Okay, all right. Or took my colleague to an expensive Italian restaurant for lunch. Okay, so coworker, a person who's not expecting it, I take them out not just to some restaurant for lunch, but to an expensive Italian restaurant, right? It's a real big surprise for them because they got a promotion, right? If you want the reason. Maybe I'm trying to get on their good side so that they promote me as well, okay? So it's that kind of specific idea that's easy, which will get you, yeah, there we go, Masala. That's much better. So Masala says, bought Justin Bieber concert tickets for my friend's wedding anniversary. Very good. Yes, Masala, now you're on the right track. So bought Justin Bieber. I think he just retired, Masala, so that would be pretty impressive. I think I just heard in the news that Justin Bieber has retired forever from concerts. But yeah, Justin, but doesn't matter. IELTS examiner will not judge you. But Justin Bieber concert tickets for friend's wedding anniversary. Okay. Now, if you have children, here's a good one, even if it's not true. Bought a, let's say, a golden retriever puppy for my daughter. Or we can go cliche and go with a pony. Okay? So that could be a good one. Now, don't just think about buying, right? You could think about something very sincere. So you could do something like wrote a love poem for my girlfriend. Okay? So you could go with something like that as well. All right? Okay, Sunantha, again, if you're donating food to the homeless or the elderly, it's hard because you don't really see the results. So you want to keep it simple, right? Okay, you want to keep it simple, all right? Okay, so let's just pick one here, all right? If I thought about all of these and I had 1 to 2 minutes to speak, I would probably go with this expensive Italian restaurant. Okay. All right, so let's try that one. I'm going to move through this quickly because I want you to practice, members, today. And I've already spent a good 30 minutes setting it all up for you, and I think you're starting to get the idea. So here we have our notes, right? And we're going to go with expensive Italian lunch for colleague. Okay. Especially if you got that question in part 1, like do you work or study, and you explain that maybe you work in an office in IT, then you can kind of go off of that. Okay. So let's go with the description. Okay. Now, of course, you don't write this in your notes in the real exam. You just know this. And if you must write something, then you could just write like a capital D to remind yourself that you describe the idea. Okay? So, describe it. What is this? What is this idea? Okay? So, new Italian restaurant. Mario's next to office for 60-minute lunch. Okay, so keep it simple. That's the description of the idea. Okay, time and location. Time, location. Okay, we already have next to the office, so we can go downtown Vancouver. Okay. And the time is, give me the time. So I don't want to just give this to you. So what kind of notes might you have? Okay. What would you put down for time? That would give you a quick, clear sentence for the examiner to give some details to this idea. Okay. So this is notes. All right. Hopefully you come up with something the same as me. Okay, so that's what I would have. Noon till 1, June on a Friday, right, before the weekend. Okay, that's the time, the location. Again, you wouldn't write time, location. You might just do something like T and L. Okay, all right. Alfred, it can't be 7 p.m. Be careful for the accuracy of what you're saying, because if you say 7 p.m., then the examiner is going to say, really, I thought you took them for lunch, not supper, right? So this is a lunch. Okay. And then we talk about the reason, right? So here again, you would just do an R. Big promotion. Now, again, details, right? So I wouldn't just say big promotion, but I would add a detail, something like senior IT manager. Okay, maybe becomes my boss. Something like that. Maybe a good idea to make somebody happy when they become your boss, right? It's a little bit of a non-altruistic way, okay? Okay, masala, you're jumping ahead a little bit, right? That's the requirements. Okay, so what is needed? Okay, so what is needed for that? Okay, corner table, $200. Use symbols in your notes whenever possible. Okay, what else do I need? Yeah, Sunantha, it could be a retirement for sure as well. That's a different idea, but yes, there could be another reason to do this. People will often do it. Yeah. So corner table, $200. What else? Rezo. Rezo is short for reservation. Okay. It's slang to say rezo, but you might want to say reservation instead. Yeah, I probably shouldn't teach you to use a slang there. It's okay to use slang in your IELTS speaking, but you definitely want to make sure it's slang that your examiner will understand. Some examiners, especially if they're not native speakers, might not understand rezo. Okay, Alfred, don't worry about your idioms, okay? Focus on the content. If idioms come up naturally while you're speaking, fine, but don't get lost thinking about idioms, okay? All right, so corner table, $200, reservation, and a cab. Yes, sure. Why not? That's quick, clever thinking, Masala. Cab to reach the restaurant. Okay, and then the execution. Good laughs, good food. What kind of food? Was it maybe an Alfredo or a fettuccine? Okay. Maybe you had the best Italian pizza of your life. Okay. Oven baked pizza, and same with your colleague. Okay. So the execution, good laughs, good food, and it was memorable. Very nice. Okay. All right, and then the improvements. Okay, maybe need more time. So next time you'll do it for after work. Okay, so maybe for lunch it was a little bit rushed. You had to get back to the office, and you felt that there wasn't enough time to really enjoy each other's company as much as possible. So next time, if you were to do it, you'd invite one of your colleagues there. It would be after work so that you're not so rushed, right? Okay, so you have all your information here. And then again, as I always tell you, before the examiner says that your 1 minute preparation time is up, you need to do one more step. It's very, very important. Last step before the 1 minute. In the 1 minute preparation time. Very important. What's that last step? Romelia? Kennel? DRH Ita. Nice. I didn't even see you in here just now. Exactly, Fuang. Prepare your first sentence. And when you get your first sentence ready, what do you need to do? What must you do in this first sentence? This is very important. Like, you're seeing me doing all of these triple exclamation marks there and the triple question marks, which is really emphasizing here. You see me writing must here in all capital letters, which means I'm shouting. By the way, in English, when you write all uppercase, it means you shout. Why or what? Sorry, not why, what. So Fuang, you will be fluent and you will be confident. That's the why. But what must you do in this first sentence? So what do you need to include? Okay, let me ask it that way from you. Okay, so because, yeah, okay, first sentence, right? But what is that first sentence? So Kennel says answer a question. Not just answer a question, Kennel, but more specifically answer the question. So, and then you're right. Answer the topic question of the card with this first sentence. Okay. So in this case, the topic sentences talk about an idea you had to make someone happy. Okay, so that's what you need to do. So a very good idea that I had just recently to make my colleague Maria happy was to take her to an Italian restaurant for lunch to congratulate her on her recent promotion. Okay, and if you can't do it all in one sentence, do it in 2 sentences, break it up, keep it simple. A very good idea I had recently was to make my colleague Maria very happy, period. She was recently promoted to IT manager at my company. So you can break it into 2 sentences, okay? All right, so that's what you need to do. Hi, Sarah, welcome to the class. I love when students come back even after they've passed the IELTS exam. That's fantastic. Okay, so Alfred and Domenico, I see that you're very ambitious to express your own answers, and that's okay. Take notes, write it down, and when we do volunteering, you can give it a shot. But for now, let's just focus on developing this idea. So here we just go through the motions, right? So don't deviate. If you've taken your notes, right? You've taken these notes here, as many of them as possible. Don't deviate. So don't go off track. Stick with them. So new Italian restaurant, Mario's open next to the office, right? So specifically, well, I'll go through this. So let's say that the examiner says to Adrian, to me, says, okay, your 1-minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking. So I say, okay, a very good idea that I had just recently to make my colleague Maria happy was to take her to an Italian restaurant for lunch to congratulate her on her recent promotion. She had been moved up to IT manager. And she actually became my boss. So I figured it would be in my best interest to cheer her up with some of her favorite food. Okay. A new Italian restaurant, Mario's, had just opened next to our workplace. So I made a reservation for Friday back in June at a nice corner table with a good view. I had overheard in a conversation that she was dying to try the food there. In order to make this happen, I needed a budget of about $200 and a reservation, as this is an expensive and desirable establishment. Okay, so I'm literally just going through my notes and adding in words. You might do it differently. You might add different words in, but all I'm doing really is once I've created my notes and I know that I need to talk about description, time, location, reason, requirement, execution, improvement, I'm literally just checking these off. Okay, so right now I'm at the requirements. Okay. Now the execution, right? And the improvements. So we ended up having a really great time. We shared stories and laughs. And indeed, the food was very delicious. She had a chicken Alfredo, and I had an oven fired pepperoni pizza. Chicken Alfredo should be small C. And I had an oven fired pizza. The one improvement I would make to this idea in the future is, rather than going for lunch, I would take my colleague after work so we don't feel rushed to get back to the office. Okay. All right. And then that's about all the time I have. So I know, members and viewers, that you're like, okay, he just kind of went right through that. He's like, boom, 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 right? But there's a reason to my madness. The reason why I did that is just to show you the fluency and detail that you can build up once you have the right idea and once you have the right pieces for the right idea. And that's kind of the trick. That's the skill for speaking part 2, okay? It has to start with the right idea, okay? So to get a really great score, in IELTS speaking, let's call it quote unquote, the trick is, first, come up with a good idea. You have to be specific to the question. Okay, you have to be. If you don't have a good idea, it's going to become really difficult to create a good answer. So for example, if you talk about taking food to the homeless shelter, it might seem like a good idea, but I think it's hard to talk about that. I think it's hard to actually give good details and make it sound original. Okay, and then second is keep to good structure, giving 1 to 3 sentences for each element of the topic. So in this case, talking about the description of the idea, the origin of the idea, the reasons, requirements for the idea, and the execution improvements of that idea, okay? And of course, keeping in mind the card, so make sure that you pay attention. So what was the idea? Did I answer it? Yes. When and why did you think about this? Yes. What did you need? Yes. What happened in the end? How did the person react? Yeah, maybe I could add a little bit more there. I could say that Maria had a fantastic time and we have a very good working relationship, right? So that's what we could do. All right, students, let's do some speaking. So of course this is speaking and I'm talking your ear off, and I don't want you to just listen to me. I do want you to speak and repeat. So copy my intonation, copy my pronunciation, speak and repeat, okay? We're going to go through this answer here together. I'm going to read it. Try to copy me from listening, from hearing. Try not to read if possible. And then, members, we will do some volunteering, and you'll have a chance to either practice taking your colleague out to a restaurant to make them happy. Keep that in mind, to make them happy. Or you can choose a different response, okay? Different idea. Here we go, everybody. Okay, so 3, 2, 1. A very good idea that I had just recently to make my colleague Maria happy was to take her to an Italian restaurant for lunch and congratulate her on her recent promotion. She had been moved up to IT manager, and she actually became my boss, so I figured it would be in my best interest to cheer her up with some of her favorite food. Now notice how I'm using the word happy here, which is the actual word in the question, and then I reflect it again here, cheer her up, as a phrasal verb. Okay? A new Italian restaurant, Mario's, had just opened next to our workplace, so I made a reservation for Friday back in June at a nice corner table with a good view. I had overheard in a conversation that she was dying to try the food there. In order to make this happen, I needed a budget of about $200 and a reservation, as this is an expensive and desirable establishment. We ended up having a really great time. We shared stories and laughs, and indeed the food was very delicious. She had a chicken Alfredo and I had an oven fired pepperoni pizza. The one improvement I would make to this idea in the future is, rather than going for lunch, I would take my colleagues after work so we don't feel rushed to get back to the office. And then let's conclude. Nevertheless, Maria and I had a great time, and I'm sure we will do this again in the future. Okay? So that would be my concluding sentence to let the examiner know that I'm done. And again, I reflect the topic. Happy, cheer up, great time, right? Okay? And then the examiner says, all right, that is the end of part 2. We will now go on to part 3. Okay. Members, let's do this. Let's volunteer for some speaking, okay? So I know I had your ears there for the last little bit. Now it's time for me to listen to you a little bit more. So let's do some practice speaking. Go to the website, aehelp.com, for newer members if you don't know this. Go to your My Student account. Click on Student Partner Speaking. Check your microphone. If you're not sure if this is your first time to use this or do this, check with another person. Write them a message, say, hey, can we check my microphone? Do you mind? Just a quick question like, how are you doing? Okay. You don't have to get into a deep conversation if you don't want to. All right. So IELTShelp.com has this as well, so you can log in there. Or we can use aehelp.com and you can log in there as well. So click that big red button to join the premium package. It's a good idea. I think a lot of our members have access to the premium version of the course. And then you go to your My Student account. And in your My Student account, you find a lot of goodies, a lot of nice tools to help you, to make you happy for the IELTS, including this tool right here. Whoa, I got a little bit too excited. Including this tool right here. Okay, it's the Student Partner Speaking, right above my head there. You click on that, and then you get into this chat interface, and oh, look at that, it's lovely. Lots of people in here. David, Tumor Chuder, Hilderson, Faith, Farhan, Ipshita, Masala, Kenel, Yanim. Now this is a members chat class, Romelia, so we're looking for members. Alfred, you should especially try if it's a hard topic, because you don't know what you're going to get in the IELTS. You don't know if you'll get an easy topic. So now you'll see me in here as master. Okay, you should already see me in here. Not Naster, but master. Okay, master, and when you see that, click on the blue envelope that's next to my handle, and then I can get you to try this part 2 speaking. Okay, so I see that Masala and Sunantha are already in here, and Yanni's in here as well. Let's start with Yanni today. I think, Yanni, you said you have an exam tomorrow, right? So let's give Yanni a chance to warm up for that exam. Okay, Yanni, are you ready? I'm guessing you are because you just volunteered. All right, Yanni.
Hello, Sir Adrian.
Hi, Yanni. How are you?
I'm doing fine today. And how about you?
I'm doing good also. Yanni, you said you have an exam tomorrow?
Yes, exactly.
Exciting, right?
Yeah.
I like that answer. You're like, oh, yeah. All right. Is it your speaking, or is it the whole exam, like the listening, reading, and writing also?
Yes, I think so.
It's the whole. It's all of it. So the speaking is on the same day.
Yeah, in the same day, but there is a interval for maybe 4 hours.
4 hour interval, 4 hour break between
Yeah,
the two. Maybe you can
yeah,
check out a delicious Italian restaurant next to the right. Make yourself
yeah, right.
happy. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Yanni. Well,
uh,
first of all, the best of luck on your exam tomorrow. Stay calm, stay confident. Really good tip for the speaking is to stay in English. So I don't know if is your speaking first, or is your speaking after you do the listening, reading, writing?
after
It's
after
after.
3 modules. Yes.
Okay. So when you do your
Module.
listening, reading, writing, and you have the
Yeah.
4 hour break after, make sure to stay in English. Okay, so don't switch back. What's your native language?
Indonesia is my mother language.
Indonesian. Okay, so
Yeah.
try not to switch back to Indonesian between the two parts of the test. And this is a tip for everybody. When you're doing your exam, you should really stay in English, especially if the speaking and the other parts are kind of close together. Like for you, 4 hours is not a lot of time. So you should try to, meet with a friend, go for a lunch, say, I've got my speaking, let's keep talking in English a little bit. Let's not switch to Indonesian, because you don't want your brain jumping around in languages. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yanni, let's do this. So I'm going to give you a chance here to answer this part 2 cue card, and then I will give you some feedback. Are you ready to do it?
Yes, I'm ready because my father watching me.
All right. Okay.
Alright.
So Yanni, I will start you off, okay? And then you can stay with the same idea. So you can talk about taking a friend out to a restaurant or a colleague, or if you want, you can do something completely different. Up to you, okay?
Okay.
All right, here we go. So that is the end of part 1. We will now begin part 2. For this part, I will show you some questions. You will have 1 minute to prepare, and you will have 1 to 2 minutes to speak. Talk about an idea you had to make someone happy. Your 1 minute preparation time begins now. And then here's where you have your 1 minute. We're going to skip that because we already did it. Okay, your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
Okay, the good way that I had just done 2 months ago is take my college friend Jessica, because she was very excited after doing an exam for the mid-semester. So I want to appreciate her by invite Jessica into a famous gallery that is the Moja Museum that's located near in the GBK Stadium, Senayan, Jakarta, South Tangerang, South Jakarta, sorry. She had and we have a reservation from Saturday, and then we just made I just made our plan to do on on Monday, Sunday evening, and we just saw many attraction in there, stuff like painting and photo spot, and we and Jessica take many picture uh, for the for amusing themselves uh, after take a break from the examination. So the result, she was happy and can reduce their stress. But I can manage the time in the future when she had a leisure time, so she cannot be rushed at the day.
Okay, your time is up. I will stop you there. And we will now move on to part 3. Put the note paper and the pencil to the side. I will ask you some questions related to your response and some questions connected to the topic. Why did you choose to take Jessica specifically to an art gallery?
Because she is the one of my close friends.
Why did you choose an art gallery and not a different place?
Mm, there is okay in my mind just a gallery.
Okay, good. All right. So, Yanni, that was good. You were fluent and you really focused on structure. If I break down your scores, the reason part 2 is very important for the IELTS examiner is part 2 is where they can really kind of assess each of those marking criteria like coherence, fluency, grammatical range, grammatical accuracy, lexical resource, pronunciation. So they can get a really good idea of each of those with your part 2 answer. So if I look at your answer that way, Yanni, I would say that your fluency is a band 8. You're able to speak. Your coherence is closer to a band 6. Okay? So
Okay.
coherence means how well I understand what you're saying. And although I understood the main ideas of what you were saying, I did have a little bit of difficulty figuring out some information, and I did get a little bit confused at times. One place where I got really confused is where you said that you made a reservation on Saturday, and then I think you went on Sunday or Monday, and it got a little bit confusing there. Okay. Your grammatical range and accuracy is about 6, okay, and your pronunciation is an 8. So overall, your answer would get you about a 6. It would be considered fluent English, but not necessarily good English. In order to make it good English, you have to pay a little bit more attention. So to make it a band 7, you have to pay more attention to your grammar and to giving really clear information. Okay, so that means that you need to keep your ideas simplified. Okay, don't go into too many, like I think when you were explaining what you needed for the idea, you went into too much description. You should have kept that a little bit more simple. And I wasn't really clear of why you chose an art gallery, right? So I would have said maybe something like Jessica loves paintings. She's especially into surrealistic painters, and there was a special exhibit at the art gallery for that, and I knew that this would make her really happy. So a little bit more clarity there. Okay, Yanni?
Okay, sir. I understand.
All right, so you have good English, but you need to show it a little bit better. Pay more attention to your grammar and clear structured information, okay?
Okay, sir. All right.
Okay, thanks for being my first volunteer today, Yanni. Have an awesome rest of the day, and again, best of luck with your exam tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thanks a lot, sir.
bye, Yanni.
Bye.
All right, yes, clarity, very important, okay? All right, let's do this. So I don't think, well, let's hear from Masala, if Masala is here. Masala, are you ready? Okay, and we're going to give a few more of our members a chance here. This is a members chat class, but I'm glad to see lots of volunteers here, even volunteers who are not members, because I will keep an eye out for you in the speaking part 3 class as well that's coming up. Okay. And I love the support in the chat for Yanni.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Masala.
How are you, sir?
I am great. Thank you for asking. Masala, how are you?
I am at the moment very excited to give my answer to you.
Okay, great. That's a good way to be. Yeah, being excited is a good way to be for IELTS. All right, Masala, then I will start you off. Give me an answer. Can be what we practiced or something different. Up to you. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's begin speaking part 2. You will have 1 minute to prepare your answers and 1 to 2 minutes to speak. Talk about an idea you had to make someone happy. Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
A great idea that I had to make my friend Smith happy was to took him to Justin Bieber's music concert on his wedding and his anniversary day about 6 months ago. That was absolutely nice plan, which I had made to surprise him without give a single clue to him. Not only it was a special day for him, but also he is a die-hard fan of Justin Bieber's, and I and he had a dream to go up once for the live music concert. In order to make that plan successful, firstly I want to bought tickets of concert which was held in Toronto. So I was checked out on internet for available registrations in live concert, and I found two tickets near the stage with food vouchers in $500, and then I booked two business class airplane tickets to reach at the destinations as quickly as possible. I rushed to my friend's office for took him with me at airport, and almost 20, after 20 hours journey from India, we finally land at New Jersey, where a blue classy color limo was stand for us. And finally we entered at concert, and my friend was totally shocked by my surprise. We had an extreme fun with energetic song of Justin Bieber, and we also enjoyed pizza and some beverages. My friend even told me that that was a memorable day of his life. If I had to chance plan a new surprise in future, I must add my other colleagues to make that very gracious.
All right, your time is up. I will stop you there. Masala, did you write that down? It sounded like you were almost reading that answer. Was that from your brain? Genuinely, really from your head?
Yes, sir, I make from my brain.
Did you have notes in front of you?
No, sir, I have no notes. I only write what is my idea, and I
Fantastic. That was fantastic. It was really good. It was like it really sound that I don't mean to be rude, but it really did sound like you're just reading a story out of a magazine about how you made your friend Smith happy. That was a lovely answer. Very clear. And very accurate to the question. So lots of really good vocabulary, lots of really good expression, lots of great details. So for example, you didn't just say 2 tickets, you said 2 tickets near the stage. You didn't just say that you booked 2 plane tickets, but you said that you booked 2 business class tickets. You included nice use of numbers, like you said, after a 20-hour journey from India. It was a nice complex sentence there. You emphasized the topic of the card. That was really well done. You said we had extreme fun, which was really good. And then you even included an indirect quote or reported speech. You said my friend even told me that it was one of the best days he's ever had. So that was lovely. An answer like that for this question, Q card question in part 2 in the real IELTS exam will certainly earn you up in the neighborhood of a band 8 even. Okay, so 758. It was very fluent. There were a couple of slight grammatical mistakes that were a little bit unnatural. There were a couple of slight awkward pronunciation or intonation mistakes. But overall it was on mark. So that was really well done. You concluded your answer at the end. That's really what you want to do. So Masala, don't do anything differently. Do the same. Keep practicing it. Practice your pronunciation. Check your small grammar mistakes when you record yourself. But you're on the right track, okay? So that's what you want to do.
okay, sir.
All right? Really good job. You deserve an applause. So I'll give you that. There you go. Okay.
Thank
All
you,
right.
sir.
Okay, Masala, have a lovely rest of your day. Make sure to hang around. Make sure to be here for the next class too for part 3, okay?
Okay, have a good day, sir.
Okay, bye. All right, and Masala's got some thumbs up coming up, I think, in the chat, hopefully, because he deserves it. That was really well done. Nice, a nice. So notice how here, just one more word on Masala's response. Notice how Masala really stuck to structure. So really stuck to what this idea was, describing the idea, describing the time, the location of the idea, Toronto, when it happened, described exactly what was needed for the idea, money-wise, plane ticket-wise, exactly what happened as a result of this, and how he would improve it to have other people and take other people on similar journeys. So overall, it was just a very, very clear response to this question, right? We can definitely almost see Masala's friend Smith being overjoyed at this experience of going to this concert with Masala, right? Rajan says, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Rajan, welcome to our group of members. Good to have you on board. I know Romelia really wanted to tackle this one, so let's give Romelia a chance here as well. Romelia, volunteer, are you ready? Okay, let's get you in here. And Rajan, I'm not sure if you are in the chat there anywhere. If you have a different name, let me know. Okay. Hi, Romelia.
Hi.
How is your Saturday?
Not bad so far.
All right. I mean, you're into
So
it, right?
far, so far.
So far, so good.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I guess
I
you
don't know what is going to happen after my
whether it'll be better or worse.
performance tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Romelia. Well, let's get into it. So I will start you off, okay? And then just give me a nice full round answer, start to finish. And you can go with the same idea, restaurant idea, or I know you usually like to go with your own idea. And
No,
that's fine
I'm
too.
going to go with my own answer. Yeah.
That good for you. All right. So
Not
here,
good because I always have low band scores with my answers, but
no, but you have to, right? I mean, at the end of the day, let's be honest. In the real IELTS, that's what you will have to do because you won't-
exactly. I don't want to stay under the impression that I have time to prepare something or wouldn't be genuine.
Exactly. Yeah, you have to simulate the real exam for sure.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's do it. I will now show you some questions for speaking part 2. You will have 1 minute to prepare your answers and 1 to 2 minutes to speak. Talk about an idea you had to make someone happy. Your 1 minute preparation time begins now. Okay, your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
Okay. About 1 year ago, one of my dearest friends of mine was going through a difficult phase in her life, and I've decided to do something to cheer her up a little bit. And knowing that she's a culture vulture and she's pretty much into art, I decided to make her a gift consisting of a painting. Was kind of an uphill struggle to have this done, not because of the cost, because it was for free, but the friend I've chosen to do this is a visual artist, kind of household name in my country, a famous painter, and was busy at the moment. But I've managed to get him to do this for me, and was a splendid painter with her and her beloved dog, a poor breed Great Dane named Oscar. And she was so impressed Unfortunately, I wasn't able to catch the moment because I posted her the painting, but she uh, told me afterward that I rendered her speechless. And yeah, I think my idea came to fruition.
Okay, I will stop you there and give you a bit of feedback on your response.
Bad.
No, it's not bad. You want to say what you said, but you want to say it a little bit faster and a little bit more concise. Your vocabulary is a band 9. It's outstanding. Lots of great use of vocabulary, natural language, metaphorical, idiomatic language. I'm going to show our viewers a little bit of all of these in just a moment. So overall, your vocabulary was definitely a 9. Your pronunciation is a band 8 to 9. It's fantastic. It's easy to understand. Your grammatical range and accuracy is also quite high. I think your grammatical range was a little bit lower here, so I didn't hear too much had been, have been, complex grammar, but it's there, so definitely quite good. Accuracy is very high. You don't really make grammatical mistakes. A fluency here would be a little bit lower, like 7. You're really dragging out your sentences and your thoughts.
I have nothing prepared.
I get it. It is what it is. The examiner, it's not love hate. It's just fluency 7. Like they'll just judge it. And the coherence was quite good. I think we can make it a little bit more concise. I think you're. For the IELTS, I think, Romelia, in the real IELTS exam, definitely keep your thoughts a little bit simpler so that you can increase your fluency. Like when you're going into details like, I wasn't really able to see her reaction because I had to post it to her. It's kind of like, really? Like, do we need to get that complex in this concept? Maybe not, right? Like I gave it to her on her birthday and she was just overjoyed when she opened the wrapping, right? So just a little bit simpler.
Speculate and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. So don't overthink it, right? Okay, so about 1 year ago, my dearest friend was going through a difficult phase in her life. When you say something like that, you might want to add a little bit of detail and say something like she had recently lost her job, for example, so that we can
work-wise or personal.
Yeah, so we can empathize a little bit of like, okay, well, what is that, right? And then you said, I decided to do something. So instead of using the word something, you always want to use a better word. So I decided to get her a special gift.
Yeah.
Right? Because then it's more than something, a special gift. To cheer her up a bit. Knowing that she's a culture vulture. I haven't heard that expression before, but it makes sense. So I can understand it. A vulture is a type of scavenging bird. So it makes sense. And she's into art. Decided to give her a painting. The next part was, again, a little bit overcomplicated. So telling me that it was a bit of a struggle because your friend who's a visual artist is very busy. Maybe too much detail there. And then you said the picture was of her and her beloved dog, Oscar. I liked this expression here. It rendered her speechless. Notice this one, viewers, listeners. It rendered her speechless. This is an expression in English where somebody is really shocked. Not necessarily positive. It could also be negative. So negative situation.
Can have a negative connotation also.
Yeah. So in negative situations, a person can be rendered speechless because they're so shocked that it's so negative. Or in a very positive situation, like when somebody's very happy, they can be rendered speechless. It basically means they're so shocked that they're lost for words. Okay. The person is so shocked by either a positive or negative event that they are not able to speak. Okay. So nice, again, very nice vocabulary, Romelia. And then here was a really nice piece of vocabulary as well. I think my idea came to fruition. Fruition means to bear fruit, to have fruit. And the expression here means to come to reality. So it became real. I would have ended this with the topic of the card, Romelia. So I think my idea came to fruition, and she was much happier after receiving the painting. Okay, so adding that happier part to reflect the topic of the cue card with that fruition bit will make it even better. Does that make sense? Like how it concludes better? Overall, Romelia, I think an easy 7.5. I think this one was better than the last part too. So you were more on topic here. It made more sense. So it was better.
Maybe I can do better next time.
Yeah, focus on a little bit less originality and a little bit more fluency. Okay?
Okay.
All right, Romelia, thank you for sharing that lovely story.
Thank you.
And those lovely words, vocabulary. Have an awesome rest of the Saturday.
Was true, actually. Okay.
It sounded
Bye,
true.
bye.
It sounded true, Romelia, by the way.
It was. Yeah.
Okay. Bye, Romelia.
Bye.
All right. So that painting does exist, right? Okay. All right, everyone. Alfred, you've been so patient. Let's give you a shot. So, Alfred, are you ready? Sanantha, I haven't forgotten about you. You're going to be my first one in the next speaking. So, Alfred, are you ready? Fatma, welcome to our group of members. Send me an email so I can hook you up. I will show my email in just a bit, Rajan and Fatma. I think we had a few new members join. So I'll show my email at the end here so that you can send us an email and we can get you set up with those videos and practice exams and everything. Thanks for the thumbs up, everybody. All right, Alfred, here we go. Hi, Alfred.
Hello, Adrian.
How are you?
I'm fantastic, thank you.
That's a
How
great
about
way
you?
to be. I want to say I'm fantastic too. I'm having a good morning for sure.
Yeah.
So I'll
Yeah, and today I was having an IELTS test for my preparation because
Alfred, I'm losing you a little bit there. All I heard was something about IELTS test preparation. Are you still there?
yes,
Okay, we had a little bit of disturbance in the connection there.
okay.
All right, Alfred. Well, let me get you a bit more prepared with this speaking part 2. I'm going to start you off. Okay.
All right.
So here we go. And now we will continue with part 2. For this part, I will show you some questions. You will have 1 minute to prepare and 1 to 2 minutes to speak. I will tell you when to start, when to stop. Talk about an idea you had to make someone happy. Your 1 minute preparation time begins now. Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
Okay. A very good idea I had was 2 years ago. Achievement on first rank in the class. I remember when we went to that popular shop called Bike 24 in my hometown. I told her that, well, the ball is on her court, and then he would choose whatever he want, and I would pay. And finally, she pointed a small bicycle with basket in front of it, and the bicycle was cost 700,000 rupiah, and she was very happy of her choice. And actually, I was really surprised because she was just moved to that new school, and I did hope that by buying that bicycle, a stable position.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there, Alfred, simply because I can't hear everything you're saying. You keep cutting in and cutting out. So something is, I think, on your end, the connection is unstable, and that's making it a little bit difficult for me to catch what you're saying. But interestingly, even when the connection isn't perfect like this and I don't hear everything, I should still get the main ideas of this cue card based on the pieces that are coming through. And you're doing a good job. So I am catching what you did to make someone happy. I'm catching that there's a person, this person did a good job in school. You decided to make them happy. So you took them to a popular school.
She's my niece, Nisha.
It's your niece. Very good. Okay. So to make your niece happy, and you took your niece to a store where you let her choose any merchandise that she wanted. She ended up choosing a bicycle, which had made her very happy. That was great. Your overall band score, of course, don't worry about the cutting in and out part. I'm considering that. But your overall band score would be about a 5.5 to a 6 on the high end, closer to a 5.5. Because of the mistakes with the grammar. So sometimes it's confusing. Like one very common mistake, but you cannot make this mistake at the band 6.57 level, is the he-she confusion. So sometimes, and this is why it was hard for me to understand who this person really is that, you said she pointed. But you said he would choose whatever he wants. So I couldn't figure out if we're talking about a boy or a girl. And as you can imagine, to an English speaker, that gets really confusing. So you have to really pay attention to that mistake, the he, she, okay? If you want to avoid that in the IELTS, one trick is, instead of using the pronoun, use the name or use the other subjective noun. So my niece pointed to a small bicycle. I told Aisha that she can choose whatever she wants. So use the name and the pronouns, other subjective nouns instead. So that's a kind of a good trick, okay? All right, Alfred, check that connection before next class. Try to get it stable, okay? I'm not sure if you can still even hear me, but Alfred, good try anyway. Thumbs up to Alfred. All right, and we just had Amira join as well. So we've got lots of new people joining in on the membership for our YouTube channel. That's fantastic, everybody. Let me show you where you need to send your emails. Welcome, Amira. Sarah, thank you for the thumbs up. Sarah, if you want to become a moderator in the chat, I'm open to it. It looks like you're already kind of doing that, helping other people. If you're interested, let me know. Send me an email. And then when you decide to jump in for a bit of English, you can help moderate the chat. All right. So all of our new members, Fatma, Amira, Rajan, Alfred, send me an email to adrian@aehelp.com. Also maybe ccadmin@aehelp.com, and we'll set you up with the perks for your membership level. Okay. And for all of our viewers, to get the best help possible, and even to all of our new members, definitely check out our premium IELTS package at aehelp.com. It's a good idea to have it. gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. We just used the website aehelp.com for the speaking interaction. So when you go to the website, you can click this big red button there to join our premium IELTS package. That's just above my head. Thank you so much. Really, I'm smashing the mic. Hope that's not too loud for you. Thank you so much, everyone, for volunteering and for viewing, and members. I hope to see you in the next class. The next class is an all chat class. Everybody will be able to join the chat, okay? That one will be a continuation of part 2. It will be questions regarding positive experiences. So that part 3 is coming up in 30 minutes, so you have time to prepare. and think about your part 2 answers, as you should connect part 3 answers to part 2 ideas. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out for now, but I will be back in half an hour with speaking part 3, and we'll take lots more volunteers to practice, not just from our members, but from everybody who is watching. So I hope to see you there. Bye for now.